Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Andy's Odyssey, and we are back with another video. I'm just walking around New Albany. I thought I'd come out here and show you guys kind of what we do. I run Bush & Sons Landscaping with my brother and my nephew, and my father, who owned the company, is no longer with us as of recent, so I've sort of started taking things over, and I'm trying to get this channel up and going, and I haven't posted much here, so I figured today was a good day, since it was raining, to go ahead and shoot a video. Like I said, this is in New Albany. This is a job we just recently started. It's Friday, May the 28th, and we've probably gotten 2 days of work, good solid days on this job before the rain came down. And as you can see, what we're looking at is a pond. And when we first got here, I'll show you some pictures of the other side of the street here shortly. You'll see the difference. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to go back over this, but I just wanted to get a view and kind of show you guys how this job looks so far. As you can see, the company that came in here before put trees in, and you've got them going around the whole pond. Okay, so here is the curb strip, and if you get to looking, you can see how this dirt is. I mean, it was filled, but it's got a lot of gravel in it, some concrete, it's really, really rough. And when you look over here, you can see how we've started to work it. You can see where there's some rough in it, but you can see when I look out, you can see when you look out how we've been over it. I mean, what you saw in the curb strip isn't out through here, and this is exactly what it looked like, just like the curb strip looked. So obviously, we've come in here and done quite a bit of work. And it's coming along. Basically what we're doing is we are grading this out. Let me zoom this back out. And once we finish the grade on this entire pond, then we're gonna come through and we're gonna seed it. And then once we seed it, we're gonna put straw matting down, which is basically like just blowing straw on it, more or less, but it's made in a factory where they weave the straw in a mesh, kind of like a string blanket, and you just unroll it in 100-foot rolls, and you stake it down, and it looks a little neater than just blowing straw on it. And when you're dealing with slopes, the straw mat works quite a bit better, just because of the fact that in storms or whatever, the wind doesn't blow it around, and the stakes that you put in it keeps it pinned down to the ground. It just helps to keep the moisture down, helps to keep the erosion from happening, and to ensure that you get a good seed bed come up when it starts to sprout and come in. This isn't finished yet. I'll probably take a finished video so we can kind of see how the end result looks when we're completely finished. I'll show the ground again, and then I'll show, once the straw mat is installed and everything, what it looks like. Now, a couple years ago, we started into this project, and we're not doing the houses that you see off in the distance. I mean, a lot of times we do the house grades, but in this project, we didn't come in here for the housework. We came in here for the land development, which is the large areas of ground. Now, this is across the street, and this is another example, curb strip wise, as to how rough everything is. Basically what it is they dig up the foundations and stuff for these houses, and the piles of trash dirt, the excavators come in and they take that trash dirt and they fill it in and pack it in there to level this thing all the way down, once the sidewalk and curbs and all that stuff are put in. And they fill up that foot that's you know, empty all the way through here with, and then we have to come in and then we have to take the ground and, you know, churn it up, grate all that trash out of it, and pretty much make it smooth. Now before I look at this, we'll go back across the street so I can give you an example. Obviously, when you look down through here, now because it rained, it took away some of our good dirt on the surface, and we're gonna have to go through this when it dries and scratch it back up. But you can see down through here where we've already done, this is a good example right in here. When we're done sifting the dirt and getting the trash out, these curb strips are gonna look more like this, where there's just some little gravels, but it's basically a nice soil bed all the way across. Like I said, we'll further refine that because it rained after we had gotten this done, which kind of reveals stuff underneath. You're not going to be able to get everything out. You know, the surface is what's going to look the best. You know, when you're dealing with fill dirt like that, no matter how deep you go, you're going to dig trash out. So ideally, you want to get that surface a couple inches down to be clean, but when the rain comes through and washes it off, you know, it starts to show that gravel again. But this is going to be sod, so when they finish this, we're seeding everything except for the curb strips. We're grading it for the sod company who subbed this work to us, but they're going to come through and put sod down through just the street side curb where this line of trees is at on both sides. So that little strip, you know, we won't have to worry about seeding. And the great thing about that is if there's a little bit of gravel and it still looks a little rough, when you're putting sod down, that doesn't matter so much because the sod will go over top of that and it'll look good. When you're seeding, you need to be more concerned about it looking like a golf course. That's when you want it to be very clean. You want the seed to get into the bed well, plant itself, and you don't want any debris. And then you want that layer of straw over top of it so it insulates it and gets it to grow. Here you can see we haven't touched this yet. We touched the other side. This is the existing piece of the pond we originally did that they still hadn't finished over here. They had construction stuff in here, and now that it's finally finished, the sidewalk's in, we got to come over here and grade this too. But you can see how trashy this is. It just littered with large gravel and concrete and just, you know, just all kinds of debris. And our goal is to get it, you know, to where we start filing it down to where it starts looking like that. You see how clean that looks through there, you know, and it's going to be even cleaner when we're done. And this is what we started with before it looked like that. So, you know, grade work makes a difference, that's for sure. You know, I'd like to think I've been in the business over 25 years, and that when I do this kind of work, I'm pretty good at it. You know, I think my jobs look good. I'm not boasting anything, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I do take my time, I do it right, and the example is right in front of you. This pond has been finished 2 seasons ago, and this is a pond that we did, and it looked just like all this does in here. And we came through and we graded it out, we seeded and we fertilized it. And the first season it came in, you know, it was a little patchy at first, but after a little bit of overseeding and some fertilizing, you know, and a little bit of patience, it has filled itself in and turned out to be a really, really, really nice pond. Now, what you see out there is just some wooden swans floating. Those aren't real. Geese and the ducks, that's real. Those are just decorations out there floating. I'll zoom in a little bit, kind of see. But you can see how nice that is. There's a little bit of patchwork that needs to be done, and it fills itself in if you give it time. But you see how nice and smooth that is, and goes all the way around. And this entire area we did. Anything you see that's grass, we did. And you can just see how nice it turned out. You know, it looks really nice. If you were to come out here, just chill by the water or something, it's pretty peaceful, and it looks nice. But anyways, when you're seeding, it's never going to come in complete in one season. It always takes a little finesse to get big areas like this to fill in perfectly. It's not going to happen overnight. But you can see, we had a lot of work over here. And if you look past that gazebo, there's another pond on the other side. There's two ponds about the same size, like this one, and both of them look about the same. So I can go ahead and take a walk. I know the camera might be a little jumpy. I apologize about that because I am walking, but it's hard to keep it straight. So let me pause the video, and when I get over to the other pond, I'll pick back up. Okay, now you can see this is a little walking path next to the gazebo, and like I said, all this nice grass that you see was just like that crappy area we looked before. This is what I do for a living. I take the ground that's disturbed when they build these subdivisions or properties or whatever, and I come in and I take my equipment and I turn it into something beautiful. I take the trash out and I bring Mother Nature back in. And when you look at the dirt that I showed you previous and you look at the finished product, that's 1,000% difference. I turned that crap ground into something nice, into something beautiful, into something peaceful that people can enjoy. I like a lot of people, and a little miffed over the fact that every year that goes by that we're in existence, we get less and less ground and more construction, and Mother Nature just sort of dwindles. Well, at least in my particular part of the business, I take all the destruction and I turn it back into something beautiful that we can enjoy, instead of looking at bare trash ground, disturbed and destroyed from all the building because of the population and the need for housing and all that other stuff. And yeah, so that's why I wanted to take this video today. I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, because I just think that what we do in the landscaping and land development kind of area is an important job to have, is a necessity in this world. And without guys like me in the business, you're not getting this. It's all part of the construction of something. Everybody in this industry, from the ground up, disturbing stuff, building houses, making the properties, and beautifying the land once it's all finished. Everybody has their part to play, and I just really enjoy the part that I play, because in the end, I'm the last guy in, and when I leave, this is what you get. You get something that's just not crap. You have something to look at. I'm not editing this video, so I'm just kind of rolling with it. So I apologize if I'm just rambling on or whatever, but I'm just being me. I'm not a news anchor. I don't sit here and practice my lines. Just kind of going with the flow here. But I hope that you all enjoyed taking a look at the stuff that we do. We did this with one tractor and multiple attachments. And for the most part, when we grade, we use a power rake and we use a box blade. Those are our two main tractor attachments that do the work that we do. The rest of it is skill, patience, and experience, which goes along with skill. Because the operator, if you get on a tractor and you put those attachments on and you try to do what we do to this ground, if you don't know what you're doing, it's complicated. It's confusing. This isn't exactly easy work. And I have to be honest, I can't find a lot of people that want to do this kind of work. I'm lucky to even have my family as a crew. It just seems like for the most part in this side of the business, nobody wants to go out and get their hands dirty. It's an acquired taste. Alright guys, here is another short clip I wanted to put in here. This is an area in between the housing. As you can see, there's housing coming down this part of the street and that part of the street. That's my car there. Hi car. I bought that because I like Transformers and because I like Camaros. So there you go. These beds in here, again, this is work that we can do, but we didn't do the landscape work as far as the trees and the shrubs and the flowers. But we came in here and we planted this. Obviously we have some touch up to do in here. The ground was really rough back in this spot, but you can see where it is nice up by the pine trees and in the back section. But once we put a little overseed on this, give it a little love, this will all come in just like everything else. Yeah, they could have sodded it, but it was a pretty large area and it wasn't as important as the housing. So anyways, I just wanted to show you this little courtyard area back here. It was just a nice little park spot where you can just kind of take a walk through the trees and listen to the birds chirp or whatever, walk your dog, something. But it looks pretty cool back here. And then of course we did behind the houses, those strips up there by the back beds on both sides. Here is the clubhouse for this subdivision. It's got a swimming pool, little park space area. And over here it's got like a community growing area. There's like a vegetable garden and flower garden inside of that fence area, and they've got somebody that maintenances it on a regular basis. But I think anybody in the community can come in there and kind of plant and do whatever. And this area, we seeded the entire thing. We didn't sod this. So everything you see here was grass seed. Everything you see here was just like over by the ponds. Same kind of condition. We turned it into good ground, seeded it, straw matted it, and over the course of about a year, it has come from nothing to what you see here. Now obviously there's a few areas in there where they've gone back through and done some work, tore up some of the ground, and then some patches that didn't come in. That's standard with these subdivisions, and most of it is because of the type of fill dirt they use. It's just difficult to get grass established a lot of times in these communities because they put the construction material so close together all over the properties that when it's done and you're down to some of the bare ground that needs to be worked, you've got all that construction trash littered within the ground that you're working with. So no matter how much you get out, you end up still having debris in it. Like if you look down here, you can still see that there's some chips of concrete in there, some gravel, you know, this and that and the other. And it's stuff that comes through when the erosion happens. Stuff that you didn't see when you were finished or that wasn't visible at the time. And so there's a lot that this grass has to grow through. It's not ideal grass ground. So you have to finesse it and treat it and work with it to get it to come in. Now when you're doing farm ground areas, custom homes and stuff where it's just better area, better field, you know, just not the same kind of, you know, close community where all this construction stuff is being brought in and it's just untouched ground, you have really great conditions and you can get really beautiful yards right off the rip. But like I said, in these subdivisions, it's more difficult. There's more work involved. There's more grade work that we have to do. It's just more difficult to get it to this level. But you can see this whole area, everything that you see as grass is what we did a season ago. And it's all come in now and it's filling itself in. And this, I don't know exactly how many acres this is, but this is a huge area that is just like in the center that the entire neighborhood they're building surrounds. Almost like a dog park or community park or whatever that's attached to the clubhouse. And they probably have a workout facility in there and some other things. But as you can see, this has been a massive project. This is the 3rd season in a row that we've been in here tackling this project. A lot of ground to grade and seed. And like I said, normally we would do all the landscaping, but in this particular project, we were given the seed contract, not the trees and the shrubs and all that good stuff. So, hope you enjoyed taking a look at that. And there is one more spot that I'm going to check out for this video before I cut this video off. Here is a quick look from my car of the opposite side of this clubhouse field park area, whatever you want to call it. Over here, for some reason, the growth came in just a little bit hardier. Not exactly sure. I guess maybe there was just less construction debris that we, had to filter out of the dirt. Maybe the dirt was a little more quality on this end. But, all of this, again, looked like the original pictures from the beginning of the video where I showed you what the ground looked like before we tackled it. And you're going to get a chance to see another video that I'm going to post where you can see the completed finish grade before seed goes down, so you can kind of see the true difference in what we do when we work the ground. The last part of this video that I wanted to add is this property inside the gate that you're looking at across the sidewalk. That green space going all the way through the whole gated area, which is like a dog park or something specific, I think. That was the last field that my father was able to grade before his passing. This was the last bit of ground. He came out here in the conditions that he was in, sick, not feeling good, battling cancer, and put time and effort into this because he loved this business so much. To him, this wasn't a business. This was what he enjoyed doing in life. Being out in the open air, farming work, anything that involved being on a tractor. And this was the last field that he graded and seeded. And other than a few little patches in there, probably because of the dogs and whatnot, scuffing it up, this field was absolutely perfect. Just an example of the great work that man did. And I learned from the best. He's the one that taught me how to grade and how to do this business. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because we've been in here for 3 years, following the first year and his passing into the second year and then doing it this year. So finishing this subdivision out is kind of continuing on with his legacy and important to me. And it's another reason why I wanted to showcase this little spot. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope I was entertaining enough. Until next time, folks.